Let's play a game called Gene Rummy. So the concept of the game, epistasis. The interaction between genes is antagonistic such that one gene masks or interferes with the expression of another. Epistasis is a word composed of Greek roots that means standing upon. The alleles that are being masked or silenced are said to be hypostatic to the epistatic alleles that are doing the masking. Objectives. First, gene pairs code for specific traits. Second, genes combine to produce more complex effects. And lastly, homozygous versus heterozygous effect. To play epistasis Gene Rummy, you'll need a regular 52 card deck and 3 to 4 players. The goal of epistasis Gene Rummy is to be the first to play all of your cards, resulting in the lowest score or running out of cards. In epistasis Gene Rummy, each card has a value that matches to the numerical values of the number cards and colors. The idea is to identify which gene inhibits another from being expressed. You can play cards by matching the colors of alleles, which are set of 2 cards from the same suit in a row. You can even lay off cards from other players' mouths to signify mating the rabbit's color allele. There are 2 ways to win the game, by having the lowest score and running out of cards. Step 1. Set up the game. Gather 3 or 4 people in a deck of playing cards. Shuffle a typical 52 card deck. The players also need a flat surface to place cards on, so gather around the table or form a circle on the floor. Step 2. Deal the cards based on how many players will be participating. The maximum number of cards per player is 12. The remaining cards will be arranged in the center so that if they do not have the card they are holding for pairing, they can draw from it. Step 3. In a group of 3 or 4 players, one becomes a gene pool, or the guide or dealer for the game. The gene pool is the first hand that selects a random panet of rabbit-themed square cards, as well as which player will lay out the gene cards first. Remember, at the start of the game, the player must follow the gene pool's first laid card. The gene pool selected player will first place a gene card that corresponds to the gene guide or panet square placed down by the gene pool. Step 4. During the game, based on the gene guide, the player follows the first player matches the gene card being laid down. The game has a repetitious flow. The player takes a gene card from their hand and pair it to the gene cards placed down by previous players. The gene guide panet square will be used to assess the variance of their paired 2-color rabbits. Note that if the player loses a matching card, he or she can draw a card from the center. If there is still no matching card, the player cannot draw again. Following the drawing, the player who cannot match the preceding person will be skipped, and the pairing will proceed with the next player. Step 5. This marks the end of the game. The game concludes when the player runs out of cards. If the player has the same card left, the card's value based on the suit is added. The player who gets the lowest score wins. The winner will shout epistasis. And now, let the game begin.